Hi, you're listening to Abbacahdabra Radio. I'm Abby, your host, and on this podcast we talk about manifestations, meditations, timeline jumping, tarot card insights, astrological insights, literally whatever comes up. Happy to have you guys here for the ride. So this first episode, I want to talk about manifesting because everybody loves manifesting. Everybody loves the concept, everybody loves the idea, but not everybody really knows how to do it or knows the ins and outs of it. Like, it's not just reading The Secret and then making vision boards for your whole life, as much as I used to think that it was. Things could actually be blocking you from getting it, because if you are trying to pull in something like a new house and you have a nice big ass house on your vision board and it's beautiful and you look at it every day, but part of you believes that you're not living there, that you can't afford it, and that you probably never will, how do you expect to pull that in? Because there's a part of you that's operating it like, I can't have this, and that I can't have this belief has probably been in there for a while, so it's a pretty strong belief. So you need to work on fixing that, getting to the core of that, which is why vision boards and affirmations and all these things can be helpful, because when you get to that root of the belief that isn't rooted in fact, you can start changing it. So to back up a little bit, we live in a reality, in a universe, I believe, that whatever you call something, it is. So if you're gonna routinely call someone difficult, then you're probably gonna pull out difficult scenarios from them. It's gonna be reflected back to you. If you routinely call something good, then you will routinely get good things out of it. So by paying attention to what you call the world around you and the things around you and the people around you, you can actually start to mindfully shift those things for the better and start pulling out better things. Maybe you're going to start to notice that you complain a lot about something or your job. Maybe you notice that you look in the mirror and think negatively of yourself, or maybe you go out in the world and you think that the world is against you. Those are things that people think all the time. I mean, those were probably all things I used to think about myself when I was younger. And shifting those things isn't easy, and trying to get real with yourself about what you think, especially about yourself, it can be a hard pill to swallow. But if you start with yourself, and if you start with, what do I think about myself, and how is that helping me, and how is that hurting me? Do I think that I'm a confident person that's worthy of love? Do I think that I'm a good person to be around? Do I think that I have a lot to offer people? If you're not thinking those things about yourself, then you're not going to present yourself that way, and you're going to make yourself smaller. So make sure you're not making yourself smaller. Make sure you're giving yourself positive reinforcement all the time. And that sounds corny. It sounds like BS, but when you start doing it, things really do start to change. And there may be some old wounds that you need to heal. God knows that I've gone through deep meditations to try and get to the root of, like, why do I feel not worthy of this thing? Why do I feel like I don't get to have this? And it's rooted in, like, old beliefs that have been stuck in there for a long time behind the scenes that I've been operating at. So starting with yourself when it comes to manifesting and creating your reality is one of my pro tips, because once you master your inner landscape, the outer landscape starts to match it. I know when I was younger and I was getting into this, one of the affirmations I used to tell myself was, I'm the shit. And I didn't believe it for a really long time. And then when I started believing it, I actually remember hearing the first time I heard someone say it to me, like totally unprompted. I never told anybody I was doing that. And one of my friends one night was like, Abby, you're the shit. And I was like, oh, I am. And I heard it and I wasn't like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was like, yeah, I am, because I finally like believed it. And that's not to say that you should become, you know, an all out vain person, but thinking good about yourself isn't a bad thing. And I think that it gets a bad rap sometimes if you think highly of yourself, but you should think highly of yourself. You're supposed to be your own best friend, so why not be your own freaking hype man? Because if anything, it'll just make you, being your own hype man helps you move through difficult situations. Being your own hype man and thinking good about yourself helps you get through the curveballs that are thrown at you all the time. I mean, that's just what I've done in the past and what's worked for me and what I'm working on now. So that's dealing with other people. Now, when it comes to pulling in the stuff you want, how the hell do we do that? How do I get that really awesome job? How do I get that fancy car? How do I get that boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever? This is the fun part. So, remembering that everything that unfolds is for us in some way, whether we're going to be rewarded because of our positive, you know, alignment, or maybe we have to learn how to pivot from a negative alignment. Either way, it's for you, and it'll help you get to a better place if you allow yourself to think that way. Like, if you allow yourself to see blockages and not having things as ways of, like, growing and changing, then it really does do a lot. And that's how you really start to master the things around you. And the best advice I have is to take baby steps. Don't expect a BMW to be sitting in your driveway tomorrow morning if you're driving a old Toyota Camry, because odds are you don't have that one belief in that magic enough, because that's something I'm working on. Like, I'm starting to really believe, like, this world is a magical place. Weird stuff can happen at any time. It hasn't yet, but it's going to. Weird stuff is definitely going to start happening. And I can't wait. I'm, like, really opening myself up to, like, magic and, like, just what it can be, because this world could be so flippin' weird if you let it in, like, a fun way and if you open yourself up to it. So, yeah, the car thing. If you take baby steps, you're more likely to get yourself there. So how do you take a baby step in manifesting a car? Maybe it's appreciating the car that you have, which sounds, you know, you don't want to appreciate an old broken down car if you have an old broken down car, but if it's still able to get you where you need to go every day, be thankful for it. Literally thank your car. Be like, the gratitude has so much power. And if you are actually legitimately thankful for the transportation you have, that's a really good first step. And so that's number one. Be thankful for the thing that is there. Find the positives in what is there. Why is that car good? It keeps you dry when it's raining outside and you need to go to work. It gets you to and from work. It keeps you safe when you're traveling. Whatever. Come up with a list. And then remind yourself that you do have the ability, the worthiness, the whatever, to pull in a different version of that car, however that looks. Maybe you get like a raise at work, or maybe you like hit good in the stock market. I don't do anything with stocks, so I don't even know if that terminology is right. Maybe you inherit money from like an old relative that passed away peacefully, and somehow you inherited money from them, so now you can, it doesn't matter how it comes up, and you don't need to control the how. The best thing to do is not control the how, it's just controlling how would it feel to be in that nice new car. And while you're driving your old gross car, if that's what it is, I mean, I don't have a Toyota Camry, I love my car, I that's just something I thought of because it was the only car I could think of, I don't really know why. But when you're driving your car, whatever car it is, imagine yourself driving like the souped up version of it, or the kind of car you want to drive. Like, how does that feel? You want to go on the feeling. And when you are really believing that you have to kind of get delusional, like opening yourself up to this world means getting a little delusional, means getting a little woo-woo, means being open to whatever is happening. So, how does it feel to drive a nicer car? How does it feel to be able to make payments on that car? How does it feel? And dive into that. And maybe you do it in a meditation. Maybe you do it while you're going to sleep at night. It doesn't really matter, but you want to get to the belief that you have this thing, or that you can have this thing. And if anything starts to come up, oh, I don't have the money for it. Oh, I don't even know how I would get the money for it. You need to start working on those. Because if you have those old beliefs that have been running for a little while, like I said, there's no way you're going to be able to pull in that new car, because you're still operating on a level of, well, I can't have it. So you need to figure out why. Is there a part of you that really does think you'll never be able to afford a nice car? And you need to start working on that. You need to start working on, like, that would mean working on your relationship with money, working on your relationship with So yeah, this is my little manifestation ramble, my little quick tutorial on like what manifesting is, how to do it, and the importance of beliefs. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much and go off on a million different tangents like I do sometimes, but hey, it'll happen. And yeah, if you guys have other ideas for things that you want me to talk about, other rambles, other questions, I don't care. You can email them to me at Abbacahdabra pod. I'm gonna put that in the notes because it's, how the hell do you spell that? And it's actually like Abbacahdabra, which is weird. It's like ABBA, like the band, and then Abracadabra. My name's Abby. It's just a play on my name and ABBA. So yeah, that's that. Love you guys.